I don't think I need to introduce this guy, but I'm going to. This is Andrew Breitbart, who's one of the reasons I got involved in politics. One of the reasons I'm doing what I do. You got to know. What is the next big thing?
Taking on the Occupy movement, the way that so much new media was created over the last 3 years, taking on those who would try to destroy the Tea Party, which include the mainstream media. There's a lot of organization to try and take down a movement as strong as Tea Party, and the same people, or the people who are behind the Occupy movement, and the mainstream media's come up with a lovely story of the year 2011 narrative about Occupy. And if we don't deconstruct and take down by new media reporting who the people behind the Occupy movement is, it will be used as a battering ram against conservatives on behalf of President Obama to get him reelected. So for me, it's going to be an obsession with deconstructing who these people are. They're the same people that organized the anti-war movement. Once they got their anti-war candidate elected, the anti-war movement did not hold their anti-war president to any anti-war standard. It was simply a battering ram to destroy the previous president, George Bush. I went to dinner with domestic terrorist Bernardine Dorn and Bill Ayers, and a matter of factly, while they were playing their cards close to their vests, I asked, whatever happened to the anti-war movement? And they said, it's the Occupy movement. They gave it away. It's the exact same group of people, and both of them have one thing in common. They could care less about the banksters. They could care less about the anti-war movement. Both were movements that were written for the media so that they would conflate them, so that they could be used to attack conservatives. That's how the organized left works. It's street theater, it's violence, it's intimidation, it's fascism on display, and Barack Obama has his fingerprints all over it. If we're not hip to that, we're screwed.
I heard your radio interview about that dinner with Bill Ayers and Bernardine Doors.
Yeah.
And you said you actually liked him, that Bill Ayers was a likable kind of guy.
I didn't say that I liked him. I said he came across as a likable guy, and that it doesn't take a genius to realize that people like him can be charming, and he's extraordinarily charming. I would argue that serial killer Ted Bundy, good-looking guy, he just happened to dismember the women that he picked up. I mean, that's not a nice thing. Was he funny and put them into a comfort zone? All I can tell you from my experience with them, A, he's a gourmet cook, one of the best I've ever had. I could not believe what a good cook he is. They're very social. They were smart enough to be social with us and to be disarming, but we were able to gain some insights into them that, you know, my number one takeaway was I was 99.9% sure that Barack Obama didn't just have a fundraiser to launch his political career from their apartment. I'm 100% sure now, and I wasn't before, that he is the epicenter of Barack Obama's social and political life in Hyde Park. There's no way that that man, with his level of sophistication, with the charm that they bring, and the people that they surrounded themselves that evening, there's no way that that isn't a huge dynamic in a very small world called Hyde Park, Chicago. And just as we're not supposed to talk about Reverend Wright, just as we're not supposed to talk about what classes he took at Harvard, we're not supposed to know his background for a reason. It's because he surrounded himself with charming, sociopathic, radical leftists like Bill Ayers and Bernardine Dorn and Reverend Wright. Where are the normal people that he hung around with in his 20s and his 30s and his 40s? Where are the normal people? The only people we know, the only people we know are people who are on record wanting to overthrow constitutional order in this country.
Can we win?
I don't know. I think it's going to take us exposing who these people are, And Barack Obama is going to have to lose, and lose big, because the American people reject the class warfare, the culture warfare, the community organizing that we thought was maybe some benevolent help little old ladies, help them across the street or get them soups and porridges or something. Community organizing is radical activism, and it's a way of dividing and conquering. It's shakedown operations. It's shock troops on the street like you see at Occupy. It's thuggery, and if we don't win in this election cycle, we could potentially lose what it means to be an American.
We got to keep fighting. Thank you so much.
You.
Thanks for everything you do.
You.